Well, hello. Welcome to my show today. I'm over the moon excited. I have Johnny Katz here with me. Hey, Johnny, how are you?
Never better. Suzy, thank you for having me.
So let's talk about you.
Okay, that's why we're here.
Yes, we are. I'm loving that fedora.
She loves the fedora. Therefore, I love the fedora.
Yes. So tell me a little bit about the fedora.
Well, the fedora is, I have a fedora, I call this fedora season because every March I shave my head for the St. Baldrick's Foundation to help raise money and awareness for the battle against childhood and kids' cancer.
Sure.
So I've been doing this for 11 years. I started in 2013 at New York. And what we did was I emceed that day, and then they shaved my head, and we raised a bunch of money. Ever since then, it's been part of my March Madness is what it is. So we did this on St. Patrick's Day at the Space. We had a party.
Right.
No, the party we usually do in conjunction with this campaign is usually on my birthday, which is March 1st. We moved it back a little bit for a lot of reasons. So we had it at the Space this year. We moved it around a little bit. Mostly it's been at the Cope Room at the Tuscany, but the last 2 years at the Space, Mark Chinook's place. And we auctioned off, during a night of music, we auctioned off the right to shave my head.
Okay.
And a woman, a local entertainment figure in town, a friend of mine named Brenda Williams, paid $1,000 to shave my head on St. Patrick's Day. She won an open auction to do it. So after that, I occasionally go out without the hat on. I was out at the Tropicana last night during the closing without the hat, but I buy a new fedora every year, at least one fedora every year that I do this. This is a model from, I think, 2017 or 18. And it's cool. This is a Gorin Brothers, and this is where it's a slick Carter. This is where Carlos Santana buys his hats too, at the Link Promenade. That's the story of the fedora. I highly recommend having at least an option of a cool hat, a fedora or a Greek sailing hat, or a paper boy hat like they had in the old days. Some kind of hat that you can go to, because you might have bedhead and you might need to get out and you need to cover it up. So that's what I do.
I'm loving it. Honest to God, every time I talk to you, this is so much fun.
People think I wear it year round because they just know me from this period. But anyway, support St. Baldrick's is the point. The overarching point. We raised about I call it the $11,000 haircut. It's what we raised through the campaign. So far, it goes on all year too.
Does it really?
There you go.
So how do we get a hold of St. Baldrick?
You can go to stbaldricks.org and search my last name, Katsilo. If you type Kats, you'll probably get there. And there's the campaign. And if you donate more than $100 on my page, you get a customized social media post. I write a social media post thanking you on my X feed. Formerly Twitter. That's a lot. That's it. And then the campaign this year, the singing theme, the theme for the songs, that we had a whole bunch of 20-something singers come in, was they sang from the year they were born, their own birth year.
Wow.
So we had people singing from 91, 81. I sang from 66. You can do the fast math there. And
you were too.
I was upright and out of sight. 1966, that's when Revolver came out, so I sang Good Day Sunshine by the Beatles. And so that's in a nutshell, that's the whole thing. That's the thing. It's one of those things I do.
That's wonderful. Well, tell me a little bit about your background. You came here in when, 1996?
1996, I moved to Las Vegas. At the time, I was a sports writer.
Okay. And
I had spent considerable time as a sports writer in my second hometown, which is Chico, California.
Okay.
I started there. I got hired at my hometown newspaper, the Chico Enterprise Record, and I was a sports writer. I covered community sports. And I spent 7 years doing that, covering everything from school sports to the local speedway to, Chico State University athletic department, all kinds of different things. I covered, bowling tournaments, tennis tournaments, club sports, everything you can name. Then in 1991, I moved to Redding, California, just north of there, at another publication called the Record Searchlight. I spent 5 years there doing the same type of stuff.
Right.
We also had occasional coverage of the San Francisco 49ers, the Sacramento Kings, the Oakland A's,
Wow.
the San Francisco Giants, Oakland Raiders. When they came back into Oakland, we would occasionally cover those games. So I saw a lot of pro sports as well.
Sure.
So I did everything.
Wow.
And in '96, they recruited me at the Review Journal to cover UNLV's basketball team. I covered the UNLV Runnin' Rebels for 2 seasons, and also covered the opening of Las Vegas Motor Speedway and a lot of other sports here in Las Vegas.
So you've been hot and heavy ever since you got
I've been
there.
running hard ever since. After 2 years there, I moved over to the Las Vegas Sun and covered everything but sports there. I was a feature writer, general writer, and through that process became the arts and entertainment editor for 8 years, and did all kinds of different journalism and writing in that company for The Sun, Las Vegas Weekly, Las Vegas Life magazine when it was around. And finally, in 2009, they said, you know what, we got to take what Katz does and put it in one place. It has to, we should just create a portal for him to do this and just go for it.
Right.
So in February of 2009, we debuted a column called The Katz Report. And that was the template and the model for what is now Katz. That has gone on ever since then.
Since 2009.
2009, and in 2016, I came back to the Review Journal to write specifically this column, the 3A column, they call it. And it was, as Norm Clark left the publication, my friend Norm.
I remember Norm. He was a good friend of mine.
Right, and he's still a good friend of mine.
Yeah.
And so when he stepped down, they hired me to take over 3A, so that's been for the last almost 8 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you have a pretty good background there.
I have a lot of Vegas,
Yeah.
My family's originally from Idaho.
Yeah. Do they come see you every now and then?
They do, yeah, they do. They come a lot. In fact, I've got a cousin coming this month, reminds me, who is also from Idaho originally. And my dad is a retired veterinarian in Pocatello, Idaho, and he's back there now as an innkeeper. He owns the Lava Hot Springs Inn, which is just outside of Pocatello, Idaho. It's a bed and breakfast that has natural hot water and hot baths all over it. The Lava Hot Springs Inn, he's owned that since 1988, and when people who follow my column know that I go back there for the holidays, and I usually post a column about the inn, about being in this little town.
Sure.
It's about 400 people. And it's completely diametrically opposite of Las Vegas. And I go up there to decompress, But I started, it was about 2009 or 2010, I started writing from up there during the holidays. I call it the Hallmark card, you know?
Sure.
And that column is especially popular among print readers. People who actually read the paper love the Lava Hot Springs or the Idaho column. I've written from Pocatello and Boise, too, where my mother lives. And so that's my dad's business. That's the kind of the family business.
Sure.
So he's bottling water, Lava Hot Springs mineral water. Now you can buy it on Amazon. And so that's one part of my family. And then my mother and my brother and sister-in-law and nephew and an aunt live in Boise, Idaho. Okay. So I usually crisscross the street.
Go back and forth.
Yeah, it's about a 4-hour drive east or west.
Okay.
Almost due east or west across the state. So I'm pretty much, my family's from Idaho, even though I have a lot of California in me, but in the West. I've always been in the West. And in Las Vegas Las Vegas is really my home. And, coming on, what is that, 28 years now?
Yeah.
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 Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you were 3 when you got here.
No, I was not. I had a long history of and a lot of career before I came to Las Vegas.
Okay,
as a sports writer, it was 12 years of that.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, when I got here, I didn't know. I had no plan. I only knew that I wanted to live in Las Vegas and be around the energy of Las Vegas. I've always been fascinated, even when I was a kid, about Las Vegas. And Steve Martin has on his album called "Let's Get Small." It was released in 76 or 77. I was a kid when this came out. I was 10 or 11 years old. And he has a stretch where he talks about Las Vegas of that time. And he does it in a really fast voice. A couple of gambler jokes for you. I gotta be me. I gotta be me. Sammy Davis Jr., personal friend of mine. And he goes through this whole stretch about Las Vegas. And I used to listen to that, and I was imagining what that show was. It turns out that show was probably like Follies or Jubilee, one of those, like, everything's coming at you at one time.
Yeah.
But I was just like, I gotta get there, and I came here and went through, life experiences growing up, as a young journalist, and getting to know the people in Las Vegas, and getting to know how the people who lived here and made this their home were really they were really inventive about how to advance the city. They were very people say it. The answer is yes. And then we figure out how to get to the yes.
Correct.
That's Las Vegas to me. And so that's what appealed to me. There's the world comes here, and I found that out pretty quickly. I didn't know at the time when I moved here that I would be a daily columnist. That was a dream of mine, but I didn't know how it would happen.
Yeah.
But it did happen, and I'm completely I'm into it. I file every day. I'm in the print edition every day. I'm online all the time, as I say, and I've had some. I've had some, forged some great relationships, great friendships over the years, and what can I tell you? It's just been.
Well, you're world renowned. I mean, everybody knows you all over the world.
That's good and bad, right?
That's good.
But I think the thing that a lot of people ask me what it's like to live in Las Vegas and do what I do.
Exactly.
I will tell you that my lifestyle and living in Las Vegas is unique. It's not for everybody. I am a satellite. I'm a missile sometimes. It's a tough life to have somebody involved in your life, somebody with you.
Sure.
So that's been a challenge for me. It's not the lifestyle you have where you have the home in the suburbs with the white picket fence and all that. That's not me. I live downtown. I live in a high-rise in the Arts District, and I go for it every day, and I try to, tell people in and out of Las Vegas the stuff that makes Las Vegas special. On my best day, that's what I do. And
that's wonderful.
That's
yeah.
That's that's pretty much how I describe it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, I noticed when you came in, your car is just amazing.
The 1967 Mercury Cougar.
Yes.
Entirely on brand.
Yes.
It's a rebuilt 1967 Mercury Cougar. It's light blue, Tiffany blue, which is appropriate because I was at the Tiffany of the Strip this week with the car, with the Cougar, covering the closing of the Tropicana.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that.
Yeah, we will. The car, I bought it when I was living in Chico. Mm-hmm. And it was the second owner. The woman I bought it from, her father owned the car, second owner. So I bought the car, and I actually sold a car, a 1933 Ford pickup that my grandfather had given me. I sold it to buy the Cougar. So that's the DNA of the car. I drove the car for about 4 years, maybe 5 years. It was my daily car.
Wow.
And in those days, I drove a car to death. And I nearly killed the Cougar. So it became mechanically problematic, cosmetically problematic. I had an assortment of issues. So finally I said, I'm going to get a new car, and I'm going to park the Cougar in a storage shed in Redding, California in 1993.
Okay.
It sat there for 17 years.
Wow.
Yes. Until my cousin, who's coming at the end of the month, named Ethan, who's a car guy, and his father, my Uncle James at the time, he was a real car guy. These are master mechanic guys. He moved to Las Vegas because he was working for the company that laid the concrete for City Center. He ran the human resources department for that. So all during City Center, he was living in Las Vegas. So he started asking me about the Cougar. Every once in a while, he'd say, I'd be at his house for dinner. He's like, hey, John, what about the Coug? What are you going to do with the Coug? And I said, look, the Coug is in a storage shed in Redding, and I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I'm not going to do anything with it tonight. Kept pressing. And I said, all right, here, I'll tell you what. You take the Cougar. I'll have it shipped to Pocatello, where James lived.
Yeah,
we have 2 sheds in our family where cars are restored.
Yeah.
I said, you take that car.
Yeah.
Take it and work your magic with your father, with my uncle. I want it out of my life. So we did that. And it had dust on it that high from inside that thing.
Oh my God.
But because it was inside all that time, it has no rust on it. And vintage car people, if there's no rust on a 1967 vehicle, that is really rare.
Wow.
So they took it in 2010. They started rebuilding it, working on it, working. My uncle had it for a while. He passed away in 2018. He gives it back to Ethan. Now, Ethan, because he's a car guy, has a lot of cars.
Right.
He has 3 from my uncle that he inherited. He has mine, or the Cougar, and he has a couple of others himself. And he's living in with his family in Cincinnati, Ohio. He says, John, this was around COVID. I have too many cars. And I said, yeah, it sucks to be you, doesn't it? I said,
Poor guy.
What am I going to do about it? I got enough cars. I have one car. And he says, we need to do something about the Cougar. And I go, God, are we going to have this Cougar conversation again?
Yeah.
And I go, what's going on? He goes, well, I have too many cars. I can't park it. And I want to know if you want to take it back. And I go, I have no use for the Cougar in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Seriously. I go, no, hard no on this, man. You keep it. He goes, if you don't take it, I'm going to sell it.
Oh, my God.
I know. And I said, oh, baby. I go, okay, let's unwind this deal then.
Yeah.
So he says, I want you to have it. We can make it, some kind of stipend financial deal to offset the cost. Because he worked really hard and my uncle spent a lot of time rebuilding this car. It's in beautiful condition. You see it.
God, is it
and
beautiful.
I said, okay, let's talk about shipping it. And it was between $2,000 and $3,000 to ship that car from Cincinnati, Ohio to Las Vegas.
Oh, wow.
It's a lot of money.
Sure it is.
I'm not going to spend. Here we go, the money pit of the car.
Yeah.
I said, okay, Ethan, what kind of condition is the car in exactly? And he goes, I would drive that car to Missouri tomorrow morning.
And you said, okay.
I said, I'll be out in 2 weeks. So I I flew to Cincinnati in late April of 2021, spent some time with him. And on May Day, 2021, I took that car and drove it across the country, mostly on Route 66.
There you go.
From Cincinnati to Lebanon, Missouri, folks, stayed at the Munger Moose Motel. From Lebanon into Amarillo, Texas, where I stayed at the Big Texas Steak Ranch overnight.
You go.
And everywhere I went, people were all over the car. And then from Amarillo to Flagstaff, Arizona, my friends in Flagstaff, thank you for the hospitality at the Monte Vista Hotel. Went from Flagstaff to where Route 66 ends in Kingman and came out to Vegas.
Wow.
And this was not a parade, Suzy.
No.
This was I drove this thing for 3 days. At one point, I stopped in Winslow, Arizona, from the Eagle song.
Yes.
I was standing on the corner in Winslow, Arizona. So, Take It Easy is the song. And they have a monument. People who've been across the country might know this, to the song, Take It Easy. So you have a guy standing on the corner who's a statue. Who I think it's supposed to be Jackson Browne who wrote the song. You have a flatbed Ford. There's a woman in the reflection, and all of the song is played out there. So I drove into Winslow, and I parked on the corner of Winslow, Arizona. Yeah. And I get out of the car. I kid you not. I get out of the car, and there are all these Mongols Biker Club, all over. There are like half a dozen of them.
Were you scared?
And there are bikes everywhere. I've been around these guys, enough to know that one thing about the Mongols and Hells Angels and these types of gangs, they don't like media. They don't like journalists. They don't like You'd have to know that,
Nothing.
You don't go up and try and interview them.
No.
But if you're just, golden rule with them. And so I go up and the guy says, hey, want me to take a picture of you next to the statue? I said, yeah. And then they said, and then they start gravitating toward the car. Yeah. And they start taking pictures of the car. They're posing by the car. I'm taking pictures of them by the car. And I'm like, this is they didn't want to take a picture with me. That was one thing. They didn't want me to post or anything.
No.
But they were fine with me taking pictures of them with the car.
Of course.
And I go, oh, this is so great, man. This is so great. They were into it. Yeah, I knew when the biker guys, they were they're looking underneath it. And it was like an alien, landed out of a spaceship. So anyway, from Winslow. And I get out of Winslow. Yeah. It was about nightfall, and I'm on my way to Flagstaff, and and the sun's starting to set, and I'm over the drive. This is a lot of driving each day. It's about 10 hours.
It's a lot. I've been.
And there are 3 big rigs on the right-hand lane on a two lane.
Sure.
And I'm coming up on this bluff, and I'm going about 60 miles an hour. So I pull into the left, the passing lane, and I gun this car. Boom! And it's going 80, 90, 100, up over 105. And this car is, I feel like it's going to take off from the road. And these guys are waving at me and honking their horns and flashing their lights.
Yeah.
And I'm giving them the peace sign. And I passed all three of them in one pass, man. And I came off going about 110. And there was a lot more left in the car. Whoa, my heart was racing. I'm like, man, this makes it all worthwhile.
Yes.
So I wrote a story that year in December. My holiday column was about the car, the one I usually write from
I
Lava,
want to
Hot
read
Springs.
it. I'll have to check
I'll send it to you, man.
Please.
So I drove back to Las Vegas. The first place I stopped was the Welcome to Las Vegas sign. And I pulled in and stopped and threw my phone to the nearest tourist and posed with the car. And then some other. I was just out there with it the other night, and a woman who was celebrating her 21st birthday did a photo session with my car just right on the spot.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. So anyway, it's a conversation piece, as I've proven.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's the car, and you've seen me now out with it a lot more now. I just had some work done on it, some tightening up work. I've had people at German Motors have done some work on it. Most recently, my friend Danny Coker at Counts Customs.
Oh, I like Danny.
Danny's a good buddy, and he had the car for a couple of weeks, just tightened it up and straightened things out. And right now, that car is as in good a condition as it's ever been. But Danny saw the car and went nuts. Danny Coker saw this car and was like, who owns this car? He's like a rock star. Who owns this car? And I said, it's me, Danny. Oh, my God. And he described it in some very adult language.
Yes,
using some adult terminology.
Yes.
But I just got it back from him a couple days ago. So it's there's not a leak. It's tight. It's straight. And it could be my daily car now if it had air conditioning. It doesn't have air conditioning.
Oh, it doesn't?
No.
Oh, my
But that's my next frontier.
Yes, for sure.
So anyway, I didn't think I'd talk all about my car, but
wasn't that fun?
Well, it's always fun. Cars are fun.
Oh, I know. I love cars.
Cars are the great
do.
equalizer.
Yeah.
It's like when you have a dog.
Yeah.
It's like you bring your cute dog into the middle of a group.
Right.
Everything's about the dog. Doesn't matter what else is going on with people. Yeah. They're all into the dog. So the car's kind of that way. When I was parked in Texas and coming across the country and. I probably didn't have a whole lot in common with all these people that are talking to me about it, but we were into the car. We talked that way and communicated that way, and it was very friendly. And it was really cool, very uniting.
Of course. Mm-hmm. Well, you were a journalist. You had an award. When was that? It was in 2000.
I've had the thing about journalists, we award each other a lot. I've been fortunate that the hard work has paid off in some awards.
Yes.
The one you're referring to is in 2013. I was named the Nevada Press Association Journalist of the Year. Yeah. At that time, it was for my work in the Las Vegas Weekly. It was the weekly division, and I had a pretty good year that year. But we've had some success collectively in awards. Right now I won the Nevada Press Foundation, they call it now, award for best general column, not entertainment, but general column in the state for this year, or this year's award. Mm-hmm. So I never take for granted, what I do. I work really, really hard at it, but
You're wonderful. You really are. Everybody looks forward to just flipping through, see Johnny Katz. That's the thing. And we talked about it before we started the show about the Tropicana. Yes. Today's the day, huh?
Today is the day. Yeah, I was there last night with about I would say about probably 50 or 60 entertainment professionals, entertainers at the closing of the Trop. Which was interesting, that was very closed by then, it was pretty much, you could feel I felt like I was walking across the casino and tables were closing behind me. Yeah. It was mostly everything, most of the machines had been decommissioned. There were a few table games in the middle going on under the stained glass. We all hung out and it was just a hang at the Chillum Bar, that little bar that's
the little one, yeah.
And I've never seen, they said this was off the charts for Chillum Bar for a Monday night. It was it was a good month Monday night for Chillum Bar.
Yeah, everybody was happy.
But we saw him take the last, box of booze off the bar, and I was drinking fizzy water the whole time. But I got a player's card last night.
Did you?
Yeah, I got a player's card, a Tropicana player's card. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah. Just because I'd never had one. Yeah. It has the logo and the Tropicana. It has a brand on it.
Yeah.
So a bunch of us got these cards.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure, but I think because
I didn't see the new
because
one.
it's Bally.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah,
up top.
there he is. He can see it.
Yeah, this is what they gave out last night. This was the last one they issued. That was the last one in line.
It, huh?
Yeah. And I told the woman,
it's now or never.
I said, I'm a columnist of the RJ, blah, blah. She goes, I know you are. And I go, it looks like I'm going to get the last card. She goes, well, it's not because you're the columnist. It's because we're out of time and out of cards.
Oh, wow.
So, She was retiring, the woman I got it from. A lot of them are retiring.
Yeah.
But I covered the final entertainment at the Tropicana, which was Laugh Factory. And
I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah.
With all the guys, I've been there many times. I loved it. I really did.
Harry Basil is the GM and the proprietor, and he was on stage. Mike Saccone was on the bill. We had a whole bunch of other performers. It was a full lineup. Dom Herrera,
oh my
comic,
God,
he was the veteran comedian. He was up there, and Ron Pearson was the very last. Ron was there the opening night of Laugh Factory in 2012.
Started,
And Mike Saccone, who came out in a tuxedo, looking like Dean Martin, man. And Mike's fun. These guys are all great. Mike especially gets to Las Vegas. He performed. He headlined at Rodney's place when Rodney Dangerfield had it in the 80s.
Yeah.
And then he was at Bob Kephardt's comedy Stop at the Trop, which was there for 20 years.
Yeah.
And he headlined there. And then he was at Brad Garrett's club when Brad had it for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And then he was with Harry during that ride from 2012 here. And he was really great. There was a lot of really good vibe in the room and great commentary. But what Mike said that stuck out, and this is how I ended my column, was that his father was a big Las Vegas fan, Mike's. He loved Las Vegas comedians, especially.
Yeah.
We're talking Shecky Green,
Don
Rickles.
I mean, really,
the
I
great
love the
come
old,
from the lounge into the showroom guys.
That's old
the
Las
legends,
Vegas real.
And Dean Martin, and
my God, they're
Martin
all
and Lewis,
wonderful. Yes.
the guys who were funny. Mm-hmm. And he Mike was age 12 when his father passed away, but he remembered this about his father, that he loved these comedians. And he said, I can imagine myself after I pass on going to the pearly gates and getting in and seeing my father and my father coming up to me. He says, so son, what did you do with your life? What did you do exactly? And he says, I'm a stand-up comedian, Dad. And he goes, oh, did you ever play Vegas? And Mike said, for 35 years, Pop.
Yes.
And that was the last line he used on stage. It was brilliant. The light was flickering, the red light to take him off stage.
Oh, wow.
So it was really cool. I was really happy to meet those guys. And I had known Dom, and I've obviously known Harry forever. And Harry did his movie guy routine where he performed as Arnold Schwarzenegger in Superman and poked his head through the Brady Bunch grid, and it was nonstop, and he had audience participation. And Harry's in his 60s now, and he still performs like he's in his 20s. Yeah. So that was the last show. It was a 10:30 show on Sunday, and we closed it out, and they're literally taking stuff off the walls. Harry was, and moving the Rodney Dangerfield statue out and everything.
Did he take it all?
Right then.
Yeah.
Like there's no break.
No, that's it.
No time to mourn.
Take it all.
And but his Doors staff, his marketing, Laura, his wife, all of us are going to be there for opening night at the next Laugh Factory, wherever that is.
Yeah.
And I think it'll be in May, and I think it'll be on the Strip.
Oh, that's
somewhere.
Good. Yeah. So what do you have for us that's really, really good?
You want some goss?
I want the goss.
Okay. Well, I think the Eagles are going to be announced at the Sphere this year. They're going to be doing 10 dates in August and September. That's the next big announcement on that.
Okay.
Adele has re-upped her shows that she had to cancel this month.
Did she?
And they're at the end of this run. I don't have the exact dates, but that just came out today. So she's going to finish off her run, I think, in October, November, if I'm not mistaken, or November, December, right in that pocket. Okay. So Adele's going to fill all her dates.
Oh, yeah.
After all that, she had vocal
BS.
problems over at the Coliseum.
Yeah.
What else can I tell you? We've got Kenny Loggins.
Oh,
No, I'm sorry. It's Rick Springfield.
Oh, Jesse's girl.
Yeah, Richard Marx are going to be headlining in Blue Live Theater. Smashing Pumpkins also coming in Blue Live Theater. Look for the listings there.
Okay.
We have the band Heart. coming in August at the Pearl Concert Theater. So it's big. You know what's working in Las Vegas right now, Suzy, is classic rock for headliners. Classic rock.
Oh,
is
I love
good,
that.
You know,
The good stuff.
Yeah, we just had Foreigner in town, and they're extending their farewell tour into the end of the year. They came here and they stopped. We thought this is going to be it for Foreigner. They're going to keep going. I saw Journey and Toto at Mandalay Bay Ultra Arena a few weeks ago. That sold out, wiped the place out. So we have those kinds of
that's wonderful.
Styx has been here. We're going to have REO Speedwagon coming back. You know,
Isn't
the
it
bands
nice
that were big
to
in the
see?
'80s are still kind of big now. I
Yeah.
had this conversation with who was I interviewing about this? I talked to Neil Sean about it.
Yeah.
And of Journey.
Yeah.
You know, the bands that are still that were popular like in the '80s are still drawing now. You know, they can still fill.
Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah, it's crazy. And then country does pretty well. We have Blake Shelton.
How's his new situation working out?
You know, I think it's going well.
Is
I
it?
think it's in a great location. It's got a great design and great concept. And he's coming in to play it on April 16th and 17th himself.
There
with
we
Gwen
are.
Stefani going to be joining him. So I like Blake a lot. I like he's invested here.
They're
That's
nice
cool.
people. They really
and also
are.
on top of that, R&B is a big thing in Las Vegas now. That is also blowing up. And I saw Jodeci, the 90s R&B band over at House of Blues, and they're coming back. They're going to extend into September. Is it September? They're going to do more dates in July. I'm sorry, July.
Yeah.
Wu-Tang Clan, for you guys, Wu-Tang Clan fans, September 28th and 29th at Virgin Theatre. They kill.
Yeah.
And we just have a lot of that. Babyface is coming into the Pearl. He'll sell out.
Sure.
Bruno Mars, of course, at Dolby Live.
Yes.
He kills. Usher did his residency here, wiped the place out. So
We've got
R&B
it
is
all.
a force. Believe it, folks. If you want to know the things that work in Las Vegas, that's what I'm looking at. Country superstars, classic rock, R&B, comedy.
Yeah.
Up and down the ladder has been very well. Adult reviews still do well.
Oh, they
especially
do?
male reviews. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Magic
Good
Mike
deal.
Live, Thunder from Down Under, Chippendales, all are doing
They're
well.
still moving and shaking.
You know what it is? It's that we've found over the years is that females, when couples come into Las Vegas, females usually make the call for entertainment. They usually are the determining factor if you see
So
what works.
Mama has the bucks.
Yeah, they for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And so they often end up at male reviews.
Yeah, that works.
Yep.
Well, you know what? We got to do a shout out to our godfather there, Nelson Sardelli.
Nelson Sardelli.
Tell me about
the
Nelson,
godfather.
what you think of. He's wonderful.
He is wonderful.
Yes.
And he knows it. Just ask him. I love Nelson. He's one of the last who can speak to the golden era of
my
Las Vegas.
God,
Nelson,
he's
and
amazing, isn't he?
he's still dynamic and funny, and I love spending time with him. And he does the Fiore. I'm sure he's talked about the Fiore lunch.
Next week
fun
again.
Italians organizing ridiculous events, and I'm invited because I'm invited anyway, but I'm half Italian. My mom's Italian. So my dad's Greek, my mom's Italian, but my mom says I'm Italian because she's Italian. And but it's the rules are you have to be. There are two rules. You have to be Italian or not.
Not. I love that, don't you?
So I love
Well,
Nelson.
Johnny, thank you for being on the show today,
glad
and I
you've
hope
made it.
to have you back again.
Yeah,
I really
we'll talk
do.
about something other than my car.
Well, but wasn't that fun?
Sure.
Okay, next time we got to talk about his Pan Am bag. So keep that in the back of your
Is it in here?
mind
No,
about the Pan Am bag.
The flight attendants took it.
Yeah. So this is our show for today. Thank you so much for joining us. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share Suzy's Las Vegas. Take care.